Hey there guys, welcome back to another video with me, Ben Rogajan, aka the Seattle Data Guy. Today we're going to be building a basic Python project, but using ChatGPT. Honestly, it's going to be writing a lot of the code. We're going to kind of take this in a few different levels. So for this first project, it's going to pretty much go all the way through. We're going to go to the Washington Senate website where they have all the bills that are going through Washington Senate. We will then be reading some of these bills that are going through the Senate and asking ChatGPT to do a quick prompt that basically asks it to summarize the bill, but do a few other things. So I think overall, I kind of already did this project, so I think it's pretty cool. Again, this is going to be mostly just a bunch of scripts for now, just to show you how you could do it. Longer term, you could definitely deploy this and productionize it, honestly, to a real product, I think. I think this is definitely an opportunity where you could actually build a product and possibly try to make money off of it. I think the extra layers you might have to add in is some of the user experience, of course. But overall, it's a good baseline for some possible proof of like, hey, how could you build a product that could easily take all the bills that go through the Senate, that could give these condensed bills to lawyers and lobbyists so they could quickly go through and see if there's anything that interests them. Since I used both ChatGPT and Copilot, there were actually a few points here that Copilot in particular really did help. Honestly, there was a point where I wasn't 100% sure on how to write the code for something, so I just commented it, and basically then it existed right below where I commented. So I'll show you, or I'll call out a few of those points throughout this video. But let's dive into a basic Python project using ChatGPT to scrape the Washington Senate website, and then take all of that information and essentially condense it down and give it as some sort of report. Here's kind of the prompt we'll be using. So let's kind of run with it.
So this is the site we're going to be scraping today. So what you're going to see is there's actually a table right here. So if we actually get rid of this whole thing, cool. You'll see that this is just a table right here where we can actually parse all this information out, and it has interesting information on bills that are going through the Washington State Senate. So if I scroll down a little bit and get past all these amendments, we look at a House bill. Let's pick a random House bill. You can actually get even more information. So see where when it was kind of brought up in the past. That's some stuff you could scrape in the future. But what's going to be more interesting here is this original bill. So you can actually see what the bill says. And so this is what we're going to kind of be doing is we're going to be looking through and getting all of the URLs for where these bills exist, and then kind of condensing them down using ChatGPT. So going back to ChatGPT, let's say, okay, so I'm going to do my best in terms of prompts, but I'm sure someone will correct me. So basically, I'll just say today, you're a Python programmer, and we need to create a script that scrapes data from, or scrapes, yeah, let's just scrapes data from a website, and puts it into a CSV. So we're going to have that. Let's see what it creates. Okay, this is actually interesting because I must have not put the exact same prompt or something. The last time I did this, it actually didn't already find the table. So this is actually kind of interesting. We'll see if I can kind of just use this as is. Let's go to Visual Studio. Cool. So we're going to copy this and see if this will work. Copy code. It looks like it should work. We're going to change this site, obviously. So let me change the site. Okay, so we changed this site to our target site. I think I might be able to change this, even though I know it's not select by table. Okay, so this is mostly right. I do need to change the select. It just needs to find this table essentially instead. Then from there, we'll end up pulling out those specific rows. And then, okay, so this is rows instead. And then from there, basically kind of break things down and then put things back into a kind of cleaned up array that we can then write to this output file. So let's just kind of run with this and test it out to make sure it works first. So let's save as. All right, so let's run this here. So Python scrape Senate. Yep. Where did I guess it did not. Oh, I didn't save that. All right. Saved it in the right spot. So let's check it out. Okay, so it says the data was saved successfully. Let's check out that output CSV. Okay, so here we go. We've got the CSV. Basically, again, we've scraped that information in terms of like the bill number, which is really mostly what we need here. I'm going to like upload this into S3 only for like purposes of like it goes somewhere. I imagine you should probably put this into Postgres because we're going to kind of be building almost a data application, right? Where we're going to be using this data to do something and not just like do analysis. So I want to do more than just a dashboard here. I want to actually make this useful to some end user, which is something I think that is important for projects. In fact, I was talking to someone who's built kind of a mini project where they are taking YouTube like captions and subtitles, scraping all that information off and condensing it down, and then basically almost doing a Blinkist of YouTube videos and then using that and selling that as a product. So these kinds of things actually provide value, and in a weird way are a sort of data engineering project where we're building this data pipeline that scrapes information. We're going to upload it to S3 for now, and then I'm just going to read it from S3 more for the practice of doing so, and then take that and feed it into ChatGPT. Right, so now I'm going to basically just ask ChatGPT to take that CSV and add in a layer for like uploading to S3. I don't know why I say thanks, but it feels like a conversation. Okay, so thanks. Can you add in a section to upload the CSV to S3? Honestly, I could probably code this faster, but at this point, it's taking some time. So we'll just go. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. It's also telling me to set this up using AWS configure, which is helpful. Okay, it's got the same code. I feel like it should write it faster the second time. It kind of knows what I want, right? So print data successfully. Now let's upload to S3. And right now we're just keeping it very script form. I think in the long run, you'd probably want to put this into like a Lambda or something. So, I mean, like this is pretty straightforward. Like if you haven't worked with S3, yeah, you set up photo, quick client, and then just upload it via this, where is it? There's the file upload. So we're just gonna keep this pretty scripty. You'd want to put this in somewhere else. Okay, gotta import photo. Yep, see, I have Copilot going too, so it knows that I want photo. Perfect. CSV file name. Oh, I guess I didn't. And then it knows I want output CSV. Yes, thank you. Then let's just put this here. Let's not name it output CSV though. Let's Senate bills. Oh, I should have added a timestamp on here. I could, I guess, ask it to do a timestamp, but I'm not going to. I did it the first time I did this. In theory, you know, let's actually, I wonder, would it know? I wonder if I add a comment here. This code below adds a timestamp to the name of a file. What if it figure this out? Okay, so it doesn't overwrite the previous file. I'm just curious. That was not me, by the way. That was okay. Can you give me the code? Okay. I'm just curious if this is okay. Nice. This is no. that's not fair. I didn't even have to go to ChatGPT. Cool. So it just wrote it for me. I was just like, you know what? I think it'll just write it for me if I'm really lazy. So there you go. Cool. So it added in the timestamp. That's really helpful. And that was just through adding a comment. That's really cool. Cool. So that we'll upload this. I'll add in the bucket name, and then we'll kind of go check out my S3 bucket here in a second. All right. So I did a few quick things here. I replaced CSV file name. I also added in a bucket name. So now we can run this, and we'll see what happens now. Let's try this out. Scrape Senate. Again, I've mostly just corrected things. I really haven't written any code at this point. Not that the code is dramatically difficult, but you know, I haven't written much. So okay, let's go to AWS and check out if it loaded it. Okay, so as you can see, the Senate bill has loaded here. It's got a timestamp. I wouldn't maybe use this timestamp format that it used. I'd probably, yeah, I might even ask that to change it. But it's great that it's there. So you can see I've loaded it. We can run it again just to show. If I reload, we should see a second file. Yep. Okay, there's the second file. So long term, this should probably just get pushed to like Postgres, because we're really going to use this very similar to an application. Also, you'd probably just run all this in a Lambda rather than like literally coding the way I currently am. But this is just, again, this is me asking ChatGPT to write code for me. So now what we're going to do is, if you remember in that code or on that, let's go back here. If you remember here, you'll see that there's an ID here, essentially, House Bill 1066. So if we go here and then we go to bill, original bill, you will see again, there is a 1066. So that's basically the House bill. And I can use this to essentially go here. And actually, I can remove this question mark, and we don't even need this here. And it'll go to this document. So it goes to this document. And we're going to basically write code to say, hey, go here and read this information and condense it for me. And actually, this is interesting. What is all this? Point being, we're going to take this, we're going to read it, consolidate it, and then tell ChatGPT to tell us, like, what am I reading here? Again, this is like a couple pages. I actually have a limit on how much I can read via ChatGPT, so this one might break it, but it'll be interesting to kind of test out. So now we're going to go back to ChatGPT and tell it to read from S3, and from S3 essentially read this information, pull out this basically ID, and go to this page, and we're going to go from there. So let's go back to ChatGPT and ask it that question. All right. I don't know why. All right. Now we will script that goes to an online PDF and reads the context or the content of that PDF, and then basically runs it through ChatGPT and ChatGPT using a prompt that both summarizes it as well as tells us if it covers a topic we are interested in. Let's see if this will work. Okay, so I did this once already, and I think we'll see if it gives me the wrong library. But that was one of the things I ran into, is it gave me the wrong library in terms of like versions of like PyPDF2. So we'll see if that works. But let's kind of test this out. Yeah, I actually think this might be the wrong one already, because I think it was the bytes.io. But we'll check it out. Adjust based on how long you want the summary, and then what's N1? So I know temperature means. I wonder what N1 means. It's also interesting because then it always tells you, like, remember to replace these things. Oh, cool. It even has topic of interest. All right, so we're gonna take this. Oh, you know what I forgot? Sorry. I don't know why I keep saying, like, why am I sorry, I forgot. We need to get the PDF location. Oh, you know what? I'll just create. Now, can you create a script to create a URL by pulling a CSV from S3 and then parsing out of every row and parsing out the fifth column of every row. This is like the hard, like, I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? So I want to parse out the fifth column of every row to pull out an ID that will then be placed into the URL. Okay, let's see if we can do this. I'm just sitting here and chatting with you guys. ChatGPT does everything for me. I'm trying to tell if this did what I wanted it to do. Plus resource ID. It's not really great. I guess I didn't really give it more information. So let's try it. Okay. So basically, we need something to read this all over again. Again, we probably long-term put this in Postgres, and you just read the direct column that you need. For now, I'm just going to read from S3. And then from there, we can do the next step, which is actually the consolidation factor. So this one, let's go back here. Let's see. Remember? Yeah, okay, good. Okay, that's that. So the URL, let me go get the URL. And then here, wants to be some sort of value that actually just needs to go instead right here. And then just F, and then, or yeah, I guess we'll just call it bill ID. That'd probably be better instead of value. Okay. This will just be URL. We're not going to need this array, but I'll keep that for now, just to kind of print it out. Cool. But then I'm not sure if this works for everything else other than house bills. So I'm actually going to check. Well, actually, first I need to do this, which is dot splits. It's a space. Oh, yep, you kind of knew what I wanted there. Can you go back? I don't know if this is how you knew what I wanted, but I also want it to be, oh no, 0 is right. And then if, not if it equals bill, even though that's an interesting premise. This is close. Last time it actually got it exactly right. It knew I wanted house bill. So we're only going to do it if it's a house bill. Nope, no thank you. Okay. Oh, and then for now, we're going to create URL list. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, cool. So this should be, oh, what? It's replacing with the wrong, not HB. I want to replace this here. 1. Okay, there we go. These should, in theory, be the bill IDs. Let's go check it out. Cool. So we're going to the bill IDs. We're now going to take this, tell it to read it using that PDF reader, and then feed it to ChatGPT. So let's do that now. I'm just going to take this and take that section of code out. So basically, we already have the URL. We just need this. Again, we're keeping this long and scripty for now. Okay, so what we want to do here, getting the URL here. So we'll just do this for here for now. Tabbed it over. And then this URL is essentially the PDF URL. So let's just change that to PDF URL. Okay, so please provide a summary of the following. Tell me, and then PDF text is there. And then print generated text. Okay, let's see if this works. Essentially, again, we have this PDF reader. I think this might be the wrong library, but let's give it a run and see if it works. All right, let's try running it. Hold on, why? You go away. We're gonna try running it. It's no longer this create URL, but let's try it. I think it ended up giving me the same problem I had before, which is this is basically deprecated. So I'm supposed to use PDF reader instead. For this, I'm just going to do this myself. So it's deprecated, please use this. And then basically, there's a ton of things that ended up getting deprecated here. So this is this. And then getting this was also different. Let's see if it can figure this out for me. It's not num pages. This isn't the way it's gonna keep giving me this issue. So I don't know it off the top of my head, so I'm just gonna let it tell me how to fix this. Yeah, see, it's length of reader pages. So I'll use that. Hold on. Oh. All right, I have to rename something. And then, yeah, the next thing is, yeah, so I've got to like use this instead of what you'll see I've got here. Let's go back. Yeah, so right now it's using this like, where's it? Get page, which I should just be using page number here. So it should be like reader, PDF reader, page number, so page num. And then I don't know if extract text needs to be there. Yep, gotta use the, gotta love when they change everything about this. Okay, so that to be extract underscore text. All right, if you can't tell, it's been a few days. I've been doing work, so I finally got back to these basic scripts. So yeah, I made a few changes since last time. If you recall, last time we were using a different PDF reader, essentially object, and then also had to change how we essentially got the total number of pages we were going to loop through. So we're going to use this pages, what I assume is an array, if I were to look under, or a list, because of how it's then later on denoted, where I just say, for this page num, go to that page. So I imagine it's something of that nature. So that's how we actually read the text. And the other thing that I've changed here, I've changed the model. So the other change here is this messages. So I'm giving a system and a user role. For the system, we're basically just telling ChatGPT you are a legal assistant. And for the user, I've given a little more of an in-depth bit of information here. Before I was just like, hey, please summarize this. That works, but like I wanted to make this a little more interesting. So I basically said, give me something that is based off this outline. So create a summary, but make it off this outline. It didn't seem to figure out, oh, you know what? Maybe this is the problem. I don't think it's using this first part. It didn't figure out that what my topic of interest was. So let me see if I specifically call this out. Does this bill cover, let's say, cover, let's just say, nope. Just gonna say this, and then this already got F. Cool. So we're going to say that that explains why it might not have been working before. So we're going to say, does this bill cover this topic? If yes, we want to summarize it and also give us some interesting points on that bill. So let's go over to terminal and run this really quick. All right, so we're going to just run this, and I need to rename this because if you recall before, this was just getting a URL list. We then added all this other stuff. We'll talk about that towards the end here, like kind of next steps, because this is a great basic Python project, not a great productionized project whatsoever. But it gets you started, and I think that's generally a good thing. All right, so it reads the first few things, doesn't find a house bill. It finds a house bill, which is this one, 1622. So it's like, okay, I'm going to read this, and it gives us the output. So, okay, good. This one did better. Okay, so yes, this bill covers education as it aims to support the needs of students experiencing homelessness. I like this because actually I was looking at this bill earlier, and I'm like, okay, it kind of covers education, but it's more nuanced than that. And so I kind of like the fact that this has actually been able to tell me, it's like, yeah, it covers education, but more specifically, students experiencing homelessness, which if you read through the bill, it's more about, how Washington State is aiming to basically better support students who maybe don't have, any form of support structure. So it covers a few things, I think, including food. So obviously it's focused on students, which has an educational angle, but it also focuses on homelessness. So it's kind of cool, just in terms of the nuance. Not great in terms of homeless students, not at all. Cool. So this next part here, this bill creates a competitive grant process to evaluate the awards, state-funded grants to increase identification of students experiencing homelessness and capacity of districts. The goal. Okay, that's interesting. And then two interesting parts of this bill. Let's see. The bill emphasizes using evidence-informed strategies to address opportunity gap. Oh, I wonder. Oh, you know what? I really want to see. I wonder if I can say and please tell us which lines you got this from. I want it to tell me where it got this information. So let's ask it to do that. Okay. Also, can you highlight two interesting parts of the bill and tell us what line numbers they come from? I'm curious. This might be asking too much, because right now it's, ChatGPT can hallucinate, so to speak. So let's see if it can tell me where it came from, and then if we can find it. That would be more interesting to me. So I want to know, okay, well, if this is interesting, where did it come from? It's not helpful. It's not fully helpful for me to not know where it came from. Let's see. All right. Oh, cool. Okay. Oh, interesting. So let's see. So, okay, here's one. This is actually really nice. Where is this? One. Where's point two? Point two is here. And then I'm blind to point three. Oh, here's point three. Here's two interesting points. So page 2 to 29 highlights the ranking criteria for award state grants. Okay, so we're going to go to the bill and actually see if this covers it. I want to see how good is this. So let's go to this bill. Okay, we're on this bill. It says page 2, lines, I think 29. Let me go back. Line 29 to 34. Okay. I'm going to start above because I imagine it started slightly above. And then maybe go all the way to below. Okay. Selected grantees must reflect geographic diversity across the state. Greater weight must be given to districts that demonstrate a commitment to partnering with local community-based organizations with experience in serving needs of students experiencing homelessness or students of color with preferences for organizations that focus on equitable housing and homeless strategies. Okay, let's see if that kind of matches up to what they were saying. So page 2, highlight the ranking criteria awarding state grants. The grantees must reflect, ranking must reflect geographical diversity across the state and demonstrate, let's demonstrate, I lost what line I'm on. Oh, here, a commitment to partnering with local community-based organizations. Additionally, they must implement evidence-based informed strategies to address systematic. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, like, and it gave us the line number. So I think that's personally pretty cool because I think what's kind of cool about this in terms of ChatGPT is that we're giving it a pretty vague task, like we're saying interesting, and then we're giving it a pretty specific task, which is like, okay, and tell me the line numbers. And it's not like, sure, you can kind of see that these are line numbers, but it's not like it has the concept of line numbers. And I'm just saying find line numbers. So it's able to basically figure out, okay, these are line numbers, right? Like it has no knowledge of these prior, but it gains it and then figures it out. So that's actually pretty exciting. And what I like about, again, this project, it's super basic right now. I think I should make like the next level of this, we use some lambdas to actually manage the functions, put functions into some more classes, use Postgres to manage this, then put a UI on top of it that would just basically let a user kind of interact with it. And then you could kind of feed this information, like have some users, and then those users would tell you which ones they kind of like, what summaries they like, and which ones they don't. You could refeed that into ChatGPT and basically say like, hey, okay, today we're using user X. They've liked these bills that you've summarized in the past. Now we're looking at a totally new set of bills. Are any of them like covering topics that we like? So you've kind of created a recommendation algorithm without having to build a recommendation algorithm. So that's kind of cool. You've simplified that whole process. That's, I don't know, again, really cool use case. I think needs a ton of polish, but I think this is a great simple project. Like you could definitely expand on this, and I think you could arguably build a product off of this one notion. So hopefully this was great for you guys. I think this was really fun. Yeah, I think this is a really cool project. All right, well, thanks guys, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks and goodbye.